If you're thinking of getting your real estate license, you don't want to go to college, or maybe you just got out of college and you don't know where to start in this career, whether residential or commercial. We're going to talk about book smart and street smart, the difference of it. We're going to talk about key elements to be a good prospecting individual. How do you prospect? And the most important part, where to start investing when you start making some money. Manuel Romero, the absolute rookie of the office. Happy to have you here, my friend.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
What do you want to know?
There's definitely a lot of things I want to know. I guess first of all, I would like to ask you, what would you do differently if you were starting again at 22, just like me?
I actually started at 28. But if I was starting again, considering that you are what is so-called Gen Z, what I would do different is embrace this social media world, embrace digital marketing, embrace how you can meet people now differently than when we have to go door to door and go give business cards. And we were chasing always these so-called conferences and meetings where we can meet 30 to 50 people. That was the key for us. If there's 30 to 50 people together in one room, you wanted to be there. Well, now you can do all these things via digital. From the comfort of your home, in the middle of the night, anytime. And that, I will embrace that right now if I was 22. Coming in this business, of course you got to sell. Of course you got to canvas. Of course you got to cold call. Of course you got to do everything I do or we need to do to make money. But I will absolutely embrace that digital world.
And adding to that, not only that, you can reach thousands of people instead of the 50 that you mentioned through social media. You have unlimited reach, which is a great advantage, especially nowadays for us.
But also, the competition is fierce.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
So before, if you got dressed and you went and you showed up and you went in those places, you were ahead of the game. Now everyone out there is reaching. So consider that as a very strong point of your successful career, hopefully.
I definitely will. So I'm currently doing my MBA at the University of Hartford in Connecticut. What would you say is the difference between being book smart and street smart?
Well, I think the difference between book smart and street smart is the book smart, you go to school to learn a bunch of tools, but you don't know what you use them for yet, right? But you have tools, and that's great. On the other hand, since I didn't go to college and I'm street smart, you learn, you focus, you create this habit of looking for the problem and then try to find the solution. So you focus on whatever tools you need to solve that problem. And so you little by little, you develop into more that intuition on what can I do? How can I solve that problem? How can I achieve my goals? And are there any tools? Let me go find that particular tool. Because let's be realistic. You get a toolbox and you need a screwdriver. What do you do with a hammer? At that moment, nothing, right? So you have all these tools, but you don't know when you're going to use them, how to use them, right? And sometimes you have them and you don't need them. So the mentality is, from the street smart point of view, is what do I need to do to achieve something? And then go focus on that tool, whatever tool you need. So street smart is great, but obviously you got to learn with the punches. Book smart is just basically for those people that have the opportunity to learn. I will advise anyone right now going to college, whatever MBA you're doing, now when you take a class, just make sure that you understand that there's a reason why they're giving you that tool in your life. One day you're going to use it. That's what I think is the difference between book and street smart.
I know I want to invest my money when I make my money. What do you recommend is the best way to invest today, especially as for me that's so young and doesn't have a large amount of money?
You know, sometimes when you see in TikTok and Instagram to these people that become rich and financially independent through real estate, you know, they don't tell you the complete truth. The key to start investing, I wish I would have known when I was starting, is understand the power of financing, right? So let me put it to you in this point of view. You want to invest in a commercial real estate, in a warehouse. Well, you're an investor. You got to put at least 30%, minimum 30%. And their bank is going to look at you and says, you don't have any experience. Do you have a tenant? Yeah, there's a tenant in place. Fine. Can the tenant pay the debt service, all the operating expenses, and give enough return to pay the interest? So the bank is going to look at the deal, not you. So you're going to need to put 30 to 40%. But as a first-time home buyer, someone like you can buy a house with 3% down. And guess what? And you're making 3% commission, or at least your balance of your fee after you split with your office. So you're making 2%, and you can buy your first acquisition can be literally out of pocket with 1% because you're making 2 out of your real estate fee. So if you ask me, what's the first thing you should do? Buy your first apartment, your first home. Remember, in America, there's this thing about my home, my home. You can buy a small apartment, 1-bedroom apartment, fix it nice, make it look beautiful. You can flip it, and up to $250,000 is tax-free. Do this all over again, and you will see that you will make more money out of flipping that property than just trying to get any income. You see all those people doing duplexes, 30% down. You just can't. You make $1,000 a month, if that. When you can flip the property and make 80 grand. So what would I do, even though that I'm in the commercial real estate and I'm not really a fan of investing in residential? Why? Well, you got to deal with your leases every year. So month 11, month 10, the tenant is already haggling with you and negotiating the expenses, the new rent. You got to fix this, you got to fix that. You buy a commercial property, you sign a 5-year lease with a 5-year renewal, you get lucky. You don't have to worry about for the next 10 years. So I'm a firm believer commercial real estate is the key to financial independence. But if I were you, my first investment, it's a place that you can afford, that you can fix and flip and go on and on and on until you got more money.
So I was under the impression that having rents and income, passive income was the key, according to what I see online.
Well, it is the key. But see, if you're going to put money in the bank or you're going to go waste it on something trivial, you want to put it so it can make you passive income. So that's the passive income is the way to achieve that financial independence. But how big can you buy this asset when you don't have the money? So you want to be able to acquire as much as you can so your asset can be bigger. The bigger the investment, the bigger there are opportunities to make money. Let's say it's just an investor. You have 2 tenants. The tenants are paying your rent after expenses, after remodeling, after the tenant left, after this, after that. You're not really making that much residual money. And then you're cash strapped until you collect again a bunch of money to buy your second property. Well, if you buy the place that you can live or you can rent, and then you can flip it and then flip it and flip it, and you did that in the next 3 years, you can come out with enough money to now go buy this investment, but not a duplex. Now you might go for a building with 10, 15 units. Now we're talking about cash flow. So it's the order of things. That doesn't mean that everybody should be doing what I'm saying. Is you as a Gen Z, what you should do. Start with something that is easy to acquire. I mean, think about it, 3% down versus 30% down. That's what I'm saying.
So what do you think makes a good commercial broker?
Great question as well. Well, someone that really understands. Of course, you have to be a good negotiator. You have to hustle. You have to have market knowledge. So many things that I have spoken in the past about how to be a closer. But I wish I would have known this before. The value, the importance of financing, it's the key to a good broker. See, when you sit in front of a client and the client wants to lease, offer the opportunity to buy. As an owner-occupier, you can buy with 10% down. If you are an investor, yes, you can buy with 30%. But one of the things that I see over and over again is the broker focuses on selling a property, trying to push a property to you. But if he doesn't understand the basics of financing, sometimes you find yourself that the deal will never happen. You need to understand, does the deal cash flow enough that you can go to a bank? If a deal cash flows 6.5% return, and people are lending at 7%, that deal is not going to happen. Don't even bother. You want to tell this guy, it's not enough cash flow unless you come up with more down payment. So now you understand financing. So you save yourself a lot of distance on hoping that deal is going to close and it's not going to close. Another case is the person is getting divorced. banks are not going to lend them money if it's going through that situation. It had a bankruptcy. You want to ask the client. So a good broker, if you're willing to buy, you're willing to answer me, the professional, some of those questions. How are you financially? Do you have a bank that you can send all that information to them, and that bank has a relationship with you that will let you know if he is financiable? So the importance of understanding financing is not only going to save you time and money, it's going to basically put you as the go-to guy when they're doing business, when they are ready. You have no idea how many times I have tried to sell something to someone that are not financiable. We make it clear. We put that goal setting that shortly after they're calling me to sell the business. So a good broker does what a good broker needs to do, but understand financing. The financial decision is as important as the asset. I know this broker, very well known. I mentioned him before, Ken Rosen. He said, I will buy anything at any price if you give it to me on my terms. I asked him, what do you mean? He said, yeah, I can buy the Versace mansion that they were selling in back in the days at $25 million for $25 million, as long as you give me the terms. I can pay it in 100 years at a 2% interest only. I will go and sign the document tomorrow. Because the financing part was beneficial to me. That put the property at a relevant price, because in 100 years and 10 years and 15 years, now that property is worth $80 million. Where did I make the money? Where did I really make the money? In the equity and the appreciation. So financing is a very important term in our world.
What do you think, in your years of experience, is the most important part or the most important aspect in prospecting?
Prospecting, you can knock on doors, right? Or you can call on the phone, or you can send emails, right? You directly, what you need to be is you need to be direct. You need to know what you are asking. You need to know what is it that you are entering into that communication. But in order for you to flow correctly, you need to know what is your position on that call. What is your position on that attempt? And you are a professional at what you do. You need to think, I am a professional at what I do. I know exactly what I'm doing. I am clear that I provide a service. I'm not a salesman, even though that you are. I'm not begging for business. I'm not hoping for your business, even if you are doing that. You need to feel in your mind, in your heart, that you provide a service. And when you make that approach, whether it's call, email, or knocking on that door, is that I'm providing you a service. Is it the right time for you to do business with me, or can I win your business? Is it the right time for me to win your business? Once you approach, every time you prospect like that, you will see how your business flows different. You know, I always like to look at my challenges from another point of view. Halfway full, not halfway empty. Halfway empty, I'm going after my business and I got to call and I got to be rejected. If I am going after my business halfway full today, as a good service provider, I am calling a bunch of people to see if it's the right time for us to do business together. Once you have that mindset, they can sense it. They can see it. They can see through you that you are here to do that versus just another cold caller. How many times have you gotten a phone call on your phone? Hi, my name is, and we're calling you from insurance. You already know who they are, and you don't even let them finish. You hang up the phone, or you say, no, thank you. What is the difference between that and someone that captures that moment, those split seconds from someone professional, secure about themselves, know what they're going to ask, okay if it's not the timing, sets up the conversation for later day. That's the difference. So when you are prospecting, it's not about what you say or how you say it. It's what's in your head, that you believe that you are a service provider and you're just seeking for the right timing. That's what I would do.
Why did you decide to pursue commercial real estate rather than residential?
Interesting, because the person that got me into this business, interested in this business, two people. One had a residential office, real estate office, that tried to recruit me, and another really good friend of mine, Victor Torres, and he was like this nightclub mogul. And I admire the hell out of the guy. And he's like, I'm leaving the nightclub life to do real estate. I couldn't believe it. He said, what are you, crazy? Who leaves this business for whatever it is that you're saying? He explained the fees that they make, etc. So that stayed in the back of my head. But when it came time that I was licensed, I also bumped into someone else that it was in commercial. And I noticed one thing. We do business only with the decision maker. 80% of the times, it's just the boss will make that decision. It doesn't involve the wife and the grandmother and family members. Another thing, you have to focus your life in where your business is. If you're selling homes, you better be ready Saturdays and Sundays to show properties. And that's okay. But I just love the business hours. And my business hours are early in the morning, and by 4 o'clock, 3:30, now you stop showing and doing things, because any self-respected businessman is not going to get into traffic in the middle of when people are going home to go look at properties. So your core of hours are what I was seeking. So making deals with one person. Another thing, very pragmatic decision. Do you fit? Is it located where you need it? Is the rent right? Is the price right? In a home, everything was perfect. In the neighborhood I needed, but it needs too much remodeling. But it's far from the kids. But my grandmother didn't like the fact that I had a pool. It happened to me. I don't want a pool because of the kids. There's so many things that come on that decision maker that you got to convince people. And you don't have control. You only talk to whoever your contact was. You're not having a family meeting about it. So I just loved it. Now, I'm not saying that residential real estate is not great. You can make a lot of money. I know brokers out there making probably more money than I am. But it's just another type of industry, another type of business. And now, and a good broker acknowledged that a few weeks ago, that says, Hector, you said it 5-6 years ago. Artificial intelligence is coming to take over residential real estate, and I think it's going to. And now we can already see the signs that it makes sense. I can take my own video of my house. I can post my own house. I can open my own door. Who can sell my house better than myself? It cannot happen that easy in a commercial transaction. So for the same thing, hours of operation, you're busy in the middle of the day, you're dealing with someone more pragmatic that is not looking in the middle of the night for it. The prices for the algorithm are hard to do in commercial, right? In a city block, you have multifamily, gas stations, office buildings, warehouses, land. The algorithm can't read it. In a residential factor, in a community, you can figure that out pretty quick by square foot of land and by square foot of construction. So I think I make the right choice. Doesn't mean that it's not a good business. It's just, this was the reason that I chose it, Manuel.
Bueno, Hector, thank you for letting me be on the podcast. It was a pleasure speaking with you. I'm extremely excited to start my career in commercial real estate under your wing. I'm ready to attack whatever comes to me and be the best I can be in this industry.
Good for you, Manuel. Well, welcome, and let's go kill it.
We will.